Okay, I think we are recording. Okay, well, let's kick off since we are 1 minute past the hour, and I'll just keep pausing to admit people in as needed. Welcome, welcome. You all know that you are in the marketing lab with Modern Business Mastery. I'm Kristina Hellmann, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm going to be guiding you through today's session. So this event is hosted by Modern Business Mastery. Most of y'all are familiar with it by now. It's founded by Tanya MFK, and she might be joining us later. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see if she pops in. I know she's in Italy right now. The community is dedicated to helping solopreneurs and entrepreneurs just like you build a business around your life and not the other way around. So it's super important for our community. Okay, I am the resident council member that deals with the data in the community. So I get to come in and I get to help community members basically make sense of their data. So we have other resident council members like Rose. She helps with the branding. Okay, sorry guys. I'm just letting people in. She helps people with branding. We have Kelly, she runs copy clinics. So we all kind of come together to help support you all in different facets of your business. So whether you work with me directly or through Modern Business Mastery, I'm just excited to be able to support you when it comes to marketing and making data-driven decisions. So these are just some quick ways you can get involved in the community if you aren't already. We have the kind of the full membership, a more intimate level of the mentorship on the left, and that's a 12-month membership. You get to work one-on-one with our founder, Tanya MFK, and you get to do some really intense planning for your content and your sales and your marketing and all that good jazz. And then we have the other option, which is a phenomenal value. It's only €35 a month, $35 a month, and it's you get networking access, copy clinics, access to these marketing labs, a personalized business plan, and all of the things. So if you're interested in any of those, here are ways that you can scan the QR code, or there are links to get more information here. Aurelia, did you have a question about something? Feel free to
Yeah,
unmute. What's
Christina,
up?
it's very small. The slides are super small, and we see your notes.
Oh,
Or at least this is what I'm seeing. So, yeah,
oh,
maybe
oh,
you want to change the view.
Aurelia, thank you so much. I'm showing the
You're
wrong
welcome.
wrong window.
All right.
Oh man, I was just going to town with that. Thank you. Let me show you guys the
You're
right
welcome.
thing because that's not how you want to see it. Let me okay. Bear with me guys real quick. Thank you so much. Okay. And I'm going to share my screen and hopefully share the right one with you guys. No, that's certainly not the right one. Hold on. Okay, can you see my big slide?
Yeah,
Okay, yay.
fine.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Aurelia. And no worries if you have to leave half past. I'll be sending out the replay. So you'll get all the good stuff. You'll get all the good stuff. Okay. Oh, welcome, Tinny. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so most of you know me, but for those of you who don't, I'm Kristina Hellmann. I'm the founder of Reditus Marketing, and I basically help nonprofits and entrepreneurs figure out what to do next with their marketing. A lot of times that looks like creating a marketing foundation. So, what I found is that many founders like you all have seen success like out the gate. You're doing good things, building great things, but you've never had an opportunity to formalize maybe your offer or your messaging, or maybe you don't have a website or a funnel, or a strategy. So I come in and kind of help you put those things together, and I refer to that as the marketing foundation. And I use data-driven strategies. That's really important to me. So I'm accepting a couple of new clients right now. So if you all need help, let me know. Otherwise, connect with me on LinkedIn. I love to meet people there. Okay, let's pop into it. So the real purpose of today is to help you all understand the basics of conversion optimization for your funnels. Part of that is math. So whether you love or hate it, we're going to dig into it today. I always say, if you've hung out with me for a while, I always say men lie, women lie, but numbers don't lie. So That's where we're going to really focus today. This is all so that you can improve your marketing performance. So if you are struggling to turn leads into customers, you want to make better decisions when it comes to marketing. You don't just want to throw things out there, and you're ready to optimize your funnel for better conversions. So the more people you talk to, you want them to actually become clients. You're in the right spot because we're going to hit all of that stuff today. Hi, Jenny. Welcome. Saw you bop in there. Okay, so first I want to start with a very quick overview of the funnel. So you can call it the sales funnel, the marketing funnel, whatever you want to call it. I typically refer to it as the customer journey. It's basically how people move through your business. So here are the traditional marketing sales steps on the left-hand side. And then on the right-hand side, this is how people experience you in the funnel, and then how you experience them in the funnel, right? So at the top of the funnel, people are discovering you through social media, through ads, through SEO. If you've done a really good job with your website, they're finding you when they're Googling, or referrals. If you're networking, you're out there, people are going to kind of maybe look you up on your website. As they move down the funnel, they're exploring what you have to offer. They're evaluating whether it's for them. Do they like it? Do they not? And hopefully they make a purchase, right? But that's not where it ends. So all funnels don't have this, but I'm really big on the retention piece down there. Your best customers are going to buy from you again and again. They're going to continue to have relationships with you. When one contract ends, they're going to want to start another, right? And you've got to be able to continue to nurture them. So this is kind of getting a little off topic, but when you look at marketing, it really should be comprised of communication to your customers and the experience you give them, and then marketing, like communication to those who aren't your customers, right? It's all of the things. On the other side of it, if you're looking at marketing goals, the top of the funnel, you might have heard people refer to this before as tofu. From a marketing perspective, you're really trying to get brand awareness. You're just getting people to know who you are. You're trying to increase your visibility, and you're trying to establish general relevance. So I talked earlier about Rose Alchemizi. She is the LinkedIn expert in our group. When people think of her name, they think of LinkedIn. So that's brand relevance. Whatever you want to be known for, that's kind of what you're establishing at the top part of the funnel. In the middle part of the funnel, we're keeping in touch with contacts over time. So we're looking at email list growth here. We're connecting with the tire kickers, so to speak. So those who maybe are interested in you but haven't signed up to work with you yet. You're nurturing them. At the bottom of the funnel, we're building trust. We're inspiring people to act, and we're continuing to have a relationship with them. So today, I know that's a lot, funnel overview. We are going to focus on this part right here, the interest part, because I think that's where a lot of us get caught up. We need more leads, right? We need more conversions. We need a bigger pool of people to talk to. In this part of the funnel, people are exploring, they're engaging, maybe they're opting into something, but they haven't said yes yet. This is where the math comes in, friends. So this is where the conversion rates come in. If you know how many people are showing interest, so how many people who are signing up, or who are hitting the page where the signups happen, and we're going to get into this. Oh, man. Zoom always does this. Makes me have, sorry guys. I talk with my hands a lot and it always picks up on it. So if you know how many people are showing interest, so they're hitting your sales page, they're hitting your landing page, and then how many are taking the action, so they're buying or they're opting into your lead magnet, we can start making smart decisions about what we want to change. Okay. Does anyone have any questions so far? Is anyone tracking conversion rates at all? Because that's the first thing we're going to kind of jump into. No? Okay, that's okay. That's okay if you're not. Feel free to unmute or bop in the chat. Let me know if you are or aren't. That's why we're here, right? We got to figure out what they are and how to calculate them. It's not as scary as it seems, I promise. Okay, so before we get into the math, I just want to zoom out again for a minute. So I love this chart. Feel free to screenshot it if that helps you. There's a breakdown of the funnel stages we just talked about. the marketing goal of those stages, and then the metrics to track. So you can kind of, I'm going to give you all a worksheet at the end of this where you can kind of self-diagnose where you're having trouble in your funnel. And then you want to pay attention on how to get these metrics. These are the metrics that you want to track. It's going to help you track the performance. So essentially with interest, we're talking about generating more leads, right? So the things that matter to us is the lead conversion rate and the opt-in rate, which could essentially be the same thing. So everyone good? Everyone got a screenshot if you want to get it. These are all other important stages and things for you all to know, but we just don't have time to cover it all today. So, all right, let's dig into the interest stage. So for measuring performance at the interest stage, we have to look at conversion rates. This is looking at how well you're turning visitors into leads. So it's telling you how well your marketing is working, specifically how many people are taking the action you want them to take. And that can look like buying something, it can look like signing up for something, it can look like booking a call. That's the conversion rate. I'm breaking this down into really small minutia. So let me know if it's too much. Conversions, separated out from the conversion rate, is when someone takes the action you want them to take. So they could sign up for a lead magnet. They could fill out your contact form. They could register for a webinar. Okay, those are the people who've raised their hands. It means they've moved from just looking at it to saying, yeah, I'm interested in that. So examples of conversions at the, there I go again. Examples of conversions at the interest stage is submitting a form on the website, signing up for a freebie or a download, booking a discovery call, joining your newsletter. Any of those things count as conversions, okay? Conversely, visitors are the number of people who land on the page where that action can happen. So it could be a landing page, an opt-in form, a sales page. These people haven't taken the action yet. They're just checking it out. So examples of where visitors might show up could be a lead magnet landing page, a webinar registration page. So when you all joined this webinar, if you went to the Calendly page, I would count you as a visitor, but you guys would be counted as conversions because you signed up, right? A services or contract page. This formula is essentially showing you how effective that page is at getting people to raise their hand and say yes to your offer. Really, yes. What you got?
I have a question, Christina. Based on the example you just gave of a webinar, let's say you have people who have registered and some of them will actually show up and attend and some others won't. So how do you count them in this case? Do you count
I
them as conversions or not?
That's a really good question. I think it's up to you and up to your business. I would count them as conversions because the intention was there. They were interested enough to get the content. Whether it's live or not, that's up to them, but they were interested enough to get the content. So I would count it as a conversion. If you wanted to get like really into the numbers, you could break that out and do it for conversion rate attended and conversion rate for signed up.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. Right.
there is power in that too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you see a big number of people who signed up and didn't attend, you're like, oh, what's the discrepancy there? So there's information there too. I get where you're going with that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so let's do a little math here. Let's say 500 people visit your sales page and 50 of those people make a purchase. So if we plug that into our little easy conversion rate calculation, your conversion rate is 10%. So that means 10 out of every 100 visitors are becoming customers. That sounds pretty good, right? And it is good, but it depends on your industry and your benchmarks. So essentially, sales pages typically convert at anywhere from 2 to 10%. That's a big difference. So that's a good benchmark for you all to think about sales pages. So when people go to your sales page, whether they sign up, they book that coaching with you, or they buy your product or whatever, look for a 2 to 10% conversion rate. Knowing your conversion rate, though, it helps you figure out if your offer is clear and compelling, if you're attracting the right audience, and if there's a breakdown somewhere in the funnel that you can fix. And note those are three different variables. So you're going to have to look at each of those and isolate each of those separately to figure out exactly what the issue is. But at least you have awareness that these are the things that you need to look at. And the power of this is that once you know your numbers, you can work backwards. So if you want 10 sales and typically you convert at 5%, say you of every 10 people you talk to, you convert those 5%, then you need 200 people to visit your page. So you can reverse engineer how many people you need to get in front of at the top. And that's what we're doing today. We're really trying to set you guys up with numbers so that you have data to kind of make better decisions. So any questions on that so far on the funnel math piece? It's not too hard, right? It's just a pretty easy calculation. Like I just have a Google Doc and I hard code the formula in there and I just look at my numbers. So it's not hard. But I want to put this into action for you guys. So let's look at if you have a lead magnet or two or three or four or five. You want to break down the performance of each lead magnet. So at bare minimum, you need to know how many people are hitting the landing page, which in this instance is represented in unique visitors. You want to know how many people subscribed to the lead magnet on that landing page, which is email subscribers. And then you want to know the conversion rate for each. So that is a formula. The C and V is just a formula that we just did on the previous page. So if I'm looking here, I'm like, whoa, lead magnet number 2 is converting at 68%. Look at the unique visitors on the page. It had the least amount of visitors, but the most subscribers. So we know that's like a whiz bang winner there. So that one is performing really well. If I'm looking at lead magnet number 1, it's only converting at 4%. And I'm seeing, 12,000 people went to that page and only 500 signed up. Like, relatively speaking, that's only 4%. So the decision I would make based on this is, okay, and typically you want to look for 30% conversion rate on lead magnets. That's just in general, like you're doing pretty good, messages hitting, whatever you're offering is pretty good. If you're doing really well, for high performing ones, like you're really doing well with those are at 70 to 80%. So if I'm looking at this, I'm saying, okay, I got a winner with lead magnet 2, and none of the other ones even come close. So I would probably cut all of my efforts to lead magnet 1, 3, 4, and 5, and just double down on promoting lead magnet 2. And I might even riff off lead magnet 2. I might even say, what pain was that lead magnet solving? How can I solve it in another way that leads to my product? Does that make sense? And that's the power of having this data, because otherwise you're like, I don't know, like people are signing up for it. I got some people on my email list, but you don't know what they're signing up for and you don't know what message is resonating the best. But if you're testing all these things and this one lead magnet really speaks to this one messaging, you kind of know you got a winner there and you can double down on that. And these are just some questions to ask when you're looking at your numbers so that you can improve each of them. Okay, so I'm going to challenge you guys. If you don't have a lead magnet, create one. And if you need help, let me know. But if you do have lead magnets going, choose one to just look at your performance. Run your math. See how many people are hitting the landing page. See how many people are opting in, and look at the conversion rate. Just see what it is. Get some awareness on it. And then if you see something you want to take action on, what's an improvement that you can make? Yeah, Vanessa says, definitely struggling with what to create for my lead magnet. I think I've overthought it. Yeah, girl, you probably overthought it. Because that's what a lot of people say. I get it. And it's hard. It's hard because you have all these great ideas and you can help people. And you're like, well, what's the one thing that can really help them? I wonder if, Vanessa, you could look at the questions people are asking you the most and kind of riff on one of those, or look at the pain that you are solving with whatever offer you're doing right now and figure out what could be a quick win for them in that. And if you're in the community, okay, good. Let me know if you need help with that. And if you're in the community, Tanya and I did a lead magnet boot camp, and I think everyone has access to it. I'm not sure. I'll ask Tanya about that. Um, but it basically helps you figure out how to get started with your lead magnet. So I'll check on that and let you know. Um, but I urge you guys, it's real simple. Just log into your whatever system you're doing it, look at your numbers and see how you feel about that. Yeah, you're welcome. And if you're going to do it, if you're accepting the challenge, put it in the chat. Tell me you're accepting the challenge. Let's have some accountability here. All right. Okay. We've looked at what a lead magnet funnel looks like and how to track whether it's working. I want to kind of zoom in on what happens after someone opts in. So this is what I call a funnel model. This is an organic lead magnet. When you're talking about funnels, we're looking at the customer journey. This is the customer journey for a pretty general customer journey for opting into a lead magnet. So they land on the page where the lead magnet is, they opt in, they go to a thank you page. Whether you're doing it or not, or you have awareness about this or not, this is a great opportunity for you to put something on the thank you page. Maybe it's a video of you explaining something. Maybe it's another call to action to follow you on social media. This is real estate. Don't waste it. Okay. And then you have the subsequent emails where you're delivering the lead magnet, you are telling them more about you, and you're making your offer. After that funnel runs, people should be placed into your regular email list where you should have a content plan of how often you're emailing them. Okay, so this is the nurturing part of the funnel. This is where if they've already raised their hand, they're interested in you. But if they're not ready yet to buy whatever you're putting in front of them in this particular funnel, they're going to hang around a while in your email list. So this is where your content nurtures them and eventually tries to get them down the funnel. And it's really, think of it as this is where the relationship starts. You know, you're courting them, you're getting to know them. Maybe they book a call, maybe they don't, all that good stuff. This is what it looks like coming to life. So that was a model. This is an actual funnel, organic lead magnet I did for a client. This is a coach. She had a 5-day challenge where she would email videos to people each day, like a training. So here's her landing page. Once people filled out this form and opted in, went to a thank you page where she did a little video to kind of get people to understand who she is and that she's excited. And then they got a thank you email with the lead magnet. And then for 5 days afterwards, they got an email that sent them to a landing page with the training on it. And then the training had the offer at the bottom so that any day they could opt into whatever she was selling. So that's how it might look like in the real world. Y'all have been with me for a while. I'm real big on in the wild examples. So that's an in the wild example of an organic lead funnel. Now, you can make it not organic by putting an ad in front of it, and then it becomes a paid lead funnel. And that's what this would be right here. So this is a different funnel model. I don't know if you all remember a couple of years ago, the big thing was VSLs or video sales letters. And companies are making a lot of money by doing paid ads. This is I did for a client where it was paid cold ads. So people who didn't even know who we were to a landing page that looked like this, that had a free training, a long training, a 20-minute or so training. And at the end of the training, the call to action was to book a call. And then they would eventually sell a high ticket program, like a $10,000 program. And that becomes a more complicated funnel, right? Because they're getting all these emails and they're going to join the list at the bottom. But what if they did take you up on that book a call? There's a whole funnel attached to that if they booked a call because you're moving them through the sales process over there. So I just wanted to show that there's different funnel models, but most of these things apply when you're looking at math and calculations and everything. So before we dive into numbers for the more complicated funnel, in general, these are the things I want you all to think about tracking for your business. So these are what I would call key performance indicators. So if you are doing ads, I don't know if anyone's doing ads right now. If you're doing ads right now, pop in the chat or let me know because that's kind of a different beast. If you're doing paid, you need to be looking at your numbers every day because it's very expensive and you want to make sure you're being a good steward of that money, right? If you're not, and you're doing just organic, you're just doing the regular old marketing, no paid, you can look at it every week or every month. I would say every week, but I know things happen. I only look at mine every month, so I can't really say much. But you want to look at your number of leads or subscribers. You want to look at the people who hit the page and don't opt in, number of new clients, number of meetings, number of video views, if that's part of your process, time spent on the page. If you have any, there are tools called Hotjar or Crazy Egg, and it's kind of embed code that you can hook up to your website, and it puts a heat map on your website, and it also shows you how far people scroll with the fold or where they stop. I use it just to kind of get a general idea of whether people are engaging with your website. If you don't have it, Hotjar is free. So I highly recommend just putting that on your website. The copy, you want to look at that. You want to make sure, and that's not really something you can measure, but you want to make sure you're continually iterating. Because I know in our businesses, our messaging evolves until we figure out what works, right? So make sure you have a pulse on your copy. And then what's really important, and I've talked about this before, is page speed and load time, especially if you're doing ads. If somebody clicks on an ad and it takes them more than a second to get to the landing page, that's a problem. I've seen clients lose up to 25% of the traffic in that transition. And when you're playing with ads, that's a lot of money. So make sure your page speed or load time has a grade of C or less on that, I would say. Justine asked, do we track this with Google Analytics? Which one, Justine? I'm sorry.
No, just thinking about the different KPIs that you've got up here, like where do we actually go to get that data?
Yes. Oh, I love that question. I love that question. Um, So that's the thing about tracking your data. It's usually in disparate systems. So I'm going to make a chart next time. Thank you, Justine. This is a really helpful thing. So your leads and subscribers and your landing page numbers, here I go again with my hand, you can get from your email client. So if you're using Kit, if you're using MailChimp, if you're using MailerLite, Flowdesk, whatever, you can see the people who subscribe to a particular landing page, and it usually calculates the conversion rate for you. So you don't have to go all spreadsheety if you don't want to, but I just want you to know the raw numbers. New clients, if you've got a CRM or if you got your little notebook that you're tracking, you can look at that there. Video views, YouTube, you pull them from. Vimeo's actually, I think Vimeo is paid, but Vimeo has analytics that YouTube doesn't have, which was really important in the VSL days when we were tracking like how long people watched a video. Hotjar Crazy Egg, that's obviously in that platform. And then page speed and load time. I think that I don't think they have that in Google Analytics. I'll send a link out to do speed test on your website because that's important. I'll send that to you guys. As far as if you're looking at like sales pages, you just want to look at page views, unique page views, and that is in Google Analytics. Time spent on page, that's also in Google Analytics. Bounce rate, I don't have that here, but that's important. That indicates that number is going to tell you whether someone clicked on your page and when they got there, whether they immediately bounced off. And sometimes those rates are really hard to read and they vary. If you have a bounce rate of 80% or higher, that's something you need to look at. But anything lower than that is generally acceptable. And all of that would be available if you're looking at landing page in Google Analytics. And there should be a report of each of the pages where people land on your website, whether it's a landing page that we're talking about or not. Google says it's just a page where people land on, whether they're clicking on a SERP result or they're typing it in. And you'll see each of the pages, and then you'll see amount of time spent on page, unique views, bounce rate, and you'll be able to kind of assess from there. So to Justine's awesome point, okay, thanks, Aurelie, take care. All these numbers, if you pull them out, you got to put them in a spreadsheet. And that's the pain in the butt part about all of this. Okay. Any other questions before we move on? And I kind of have a spreadsheet that you'll see how you can set it up a little bit in the presentation. Okay, so we just looked previously at a really simple lead magnet funnel and how to track conversions through it. But what if your funnel has more steps, like you're doing a webinar or you got some sales calls? We're going to look at what that might look like if we add a little more complication to the funnel. So this is more layered, and this is where we're really going to reverse engineer exactly how many leads you need to hit your sales goals. So this is where the numbers get super powerful because you're not guessing anymore. You're starting to be really, really purposeful. And you can look at the numbers and say, oh, I can do that. Or no, I cannot do that. In this example, you might say, no, I can't do that. That was my reaction when I saw this. Okay, so the first thing when you're looking at your funnel, you've got to identify the actual steps in your funnel. So you've got to map out the customer journey. So if my funnel is a landing page to opt in to attend a webinar, so the opt-in is 1, attending the webinar is 2, and then from that webinar, I'm pushing people to a sales call. That's the 3rd step. And then from the sales call, I'm asking people to purchase. That's the 4th step. So girl, let me know what you need help with. We all got to go back to the basics of marketing because it's complicated. But I will maintain, this is a pulpit I'll stand on. In a world of so many marketing tactics and so many flashing things, the basics are what's up. I really do believe that. And this is the kind of stuff, the steps might vary, your funnel might vary, but I mean, you're always going to need to talk to people, right? And if we can figure out how many people we need to talk to, at least we have a general direction of where to go. But let me know if you have specific questions, Vanessa. Super, super happy to help you. Okay, so the particular steps might look a little bit different depending on your business model. But here's kind of a classic example. Okay. Next, what we want to do is we want to essentially give ourselves a goal. So I'm going to say here, I want 20 new clients. Now I can't just throw that goal out there. I kind of need to reverse engineer it so that I can make it make sense and see if it's doable, right? So what I typically do is use industry benchmarks, and chat's real good at this. I did all this before chat, but chat is real good at this. You can go in and just ask it, tell them your industry, tell them what you're doing. What can I expect for a typical conversion rate at these points in the funnel? In this example, I've plugged in typical conversion rates. So we want to see about 30% of the people who hit the landing page sign up to attend the webinar. From those people who attend the webinar, we want to see about 15% of those people go onto a sales call. From those who go into a sales call, we want to see about 15% of those purchase to get us our 20 clients. So that's going to vary, right? Depending if you're like a hell of a closer and you're really good, then maybe your rate goes up there. If you've got cold leads versus warm leads, maybe your numbers are going to change there. It's a lot easier to convert a warm lead than it is a cold lead, right? So those are things that you can play with, but this is kind of the standard that we're going to use. So, and I want to note, since it's a funnel, each step is a percentage of the one before it, not after, right? The logic flows down, not backward. So if 15% of your sales calls turn into paying clients, you need 133 sales calls. If 15% of, if 15% of webinar attendees book a sales call, then you need 889 webinar attendees. And if you want 30% of those people, you need almost 3,000 opt-ins. So then you can look at this and say, oh, is this doable? How are you going to get that many people to opt in? Because the layer before this that we didn't even talk about is people that land on the page. So you might need 10,000 people to land on that page to get an opt-in rate of 3,000, if that makes sense. When you're looking at volume like this, you might want to invest in some paid ads. Most of us don't need 20 new clients, right? Unless we're running a group. And then those numbers do look different. And then paid ads might come in handy. Does this make sense? Okay. Thanks, Justine. Okay, so here's the math in visual form so you guys can see it all in one page. So if you're starting with almost 3,000 opt-ins, that's going to lead to 889 webinar attendees, which leads to 133 sales calls. Ooh, by the way, who can do 133 sales calls? Like, that is madness. How burned out would you be? Unless you have a sales team, which I think when I did this training originally, I was working with sales teams. So, and then purchasing 20 people. So when you see it laid out like this, though, you can start making better decisions, right? You can make data-driven decisions and you can see where something's off. Like, I'm looking at this now and I'm like, no, I can't do 133 sales calls. And I sure don't have the money to get the volume on the landing page that I need it on. Unless I'm already thinking that I've got a really strong email marketing game or a really strong social presence, or I'm working with partners and collaborators who can help me get volume or eyeballs on this, right? Okay, so this is your roadmap. I want you guys to be creating roadmaps for yourself and your efforts. If you want 20 clients like this, these are the targets that you need to hit at each stage with these numbers. So it's not about guessing or hustling harder. It's about working smarter with our math, right? Okay. This is just a simple way if you're running a launch or you want to track. Justine, this is kind of how I do it. I'm looking at, what I would add here. I haven't looked at this in this form and really closely for a while. I'd probably add number of unique visits to the landing page. And then you look at, if you're doing a webinar or sales call, like who's showing up, purchasers, revenue. And then I always look at benchmarks and my goals and my actuals. So this is just something, and you can make any old spreadsheet for yourself with any of the columns that make sense to you, anything that helps you do your funnel math. It's just a tool. You don't have to use it. Okay, how's everyone feeling? That's all the math we're going to talk about for today. You good? Okay. Yes, you good, Justine? Okay, awesome. Tinny, good. Okay, cool. All right, so the last part of this is I want to take you guys through different parts of the funnel. And if you're struggling with different parts of the funnel, what are some quick wins? What are some quick actions you can take? So the first part of the funnel, the very top of the funnel, we're looking for awareness, right? If you're struggling with low traffic to your website, there are a couple things you can do. You can look at doing a blog if you haven't done one before, and you can work on optimizing the SEO for your website. And I talked a lot about this in the marketing lab in January, if you guys want to catch the replay, about improving SEO on your website. There's just a lot of technical things that you all can do to help make your website more search friendly. So that's an important thing to do. Collaborations and partnerships are huge. They will help you get more eyeballs on your offer in a really authentic way that feels good too. I kind of shifted my focus this year in my business from like, oh, I need to make these sales, I need to get this revenue, to just connections. And I think a lot of us are doing that in the group, just focusing on connections. Like, how do we talk to people? How do we serve people? And things naturally come out of that. It doesn't mean we're not strategic. It doesn't mean we're not looking at our numbers. But, if I know that Vanessa's focusing on like sales and she can help other people, then I want to make sure that Vanessa's focusing on strategy, Justine's focusing on sales. I know that, and I can put other people in front of them. I can make connections for them. And I think that's the power of leveraging collaborations and partnerships. If you're ready, you can run paid ads to targeted to the right audience to get more eyeballs on your offer. And again, that's a whole nother set of data that we'd be looking at if you had ads, because we'd be looking at the ad performance and whether we're getting what the ROAS, what the return on ad spend is on that. Okay, so that's just a couple of ideas for awareness. If you're in the interest phase, which is what we've spent most of our time talking about, and your leads aren't engaging, it's time to look at your lead magnets and kind of strengthen the offers there. You might want to look at improving the messaging on the landing page, maybe even the design. We don't want to make our landing pages cluttered. We don't want to put all the things on the landing pages. A sales page is different. that can have the FAQs and all of the pain and all of the things. That's further down the funnel, right? That's after they know who you are and they're warm. At the beginning of the funnel, or at the second like interest stage, when they're just getting to know you, you want to give them what they want more quickly. So think about that when you're creating your landing pages. And then you want to make sure your offer is good. It's clear, it's compelling, it solves their pain, it's not complicated. I see more and more coaches, especially, are just like, okay, it's $1,000 a month. You get access to me, and they don't even really talk about the features or the benefits, which is not for me because I want to know the features or the benefits. But I think a lot of people, if you've been in the game for a while and you have a big email list and people know what you are about, they don't really care about the specifics. They're like, I trust this person. They're going to help me with this transformation. So just make sure your offer is clear and compelling. Okay, decision. We're on the middle of the funnel now. If people aren't buying, so again, improve your offer clarity. That's a big one. Add social proof. So testimonials, case studies, reviews, those are big. Remove unnecessary distractions from sales pages. Like, you don't need people to follow you on social media on your sales page. Like, that's not the focus of it. You want to make sure it's really honed in to your offer and that you're clearly communicating how you can help this person and who the offer is for. And we've got a whole other training on that. Okay, conversion. So if you're getting verbal yeses, but people are having trouble moving to the next step, if you don't have social proof, how do you combat that? That's a really good question. I would start by looking at if you can look at your business, Vanessa, and think about any client transformations that you have been able to help. That's one thing. But if you're newer in your business, look at your career as an employee and see what kind of transformations you were able to affect there. Like, what did you do in your career with strategy before? How did you help your employer or businesses achieve certain goals or things? And take those stories and have those serve as case studies or social proof. That could be one thing. I'll have to think on that a little bit because that is a question that comes up a lot. Anybody else have any thoughts?
One thing that I've been playing around with the not having the social proof is risk reversal in the offer
Mm.
and guarantees. Because what the social proof is doing is telling the person, I've done this before, you can trust me. But if we don't have that to show them, how can we in the offer still give that sense of, I've done this before, you can trust me? So by putting in some sort of guarantee to be like, if you don't get to here and you've done everything that I've wanted you to do in the time frame that I've said, then I'm happy to spend longer with you or to do this
Mm.
extra thing. And then we can still give that feeling of trust and credibility as we build up the social proof. Your guarantees or that risk reversal can either get smaller or less on you as the person who is making that offer.
Oh, Justine, I love that. That's so good because I think in coaching, it's hard, right? Because stuff isn't completely tangible. Same thing
Mm.
with strategy, Vanessa. Like, things aren't completely tangible. So, like, I help clients with their marketing foundations. I can't really attach numbers to that. You know what I mean? Like, when we do funnels, I can, but if I'm helping them build a website, and I might be able one day to suss out how many clients they've gotten by using that strategy, but that's a long relationship, right? And maybe they're not a client at that time. So, Justine, I love what you're saying is just focus more on, okay, this is what we're going to do together, and if you're not there by this point, like, we're going to stay together. I'm going to give you more value. I think that's really good because I think people at the end of the day just want to feel supported anyway.
Literally, they just want to know that you're going to hold their hand. You're not going to leave them at the end with
Yes.
nothing because it's just a fear thing. If you get to the point and you're making an offer, they already like you and
Yeah.
they
Yes.
already trust you. Here's the
Yes.
thing, I'm just not sure. Can you help me? And so if you can say something or have something in your offer that goes, I will help you, half of the time, even if they don't get that transformation, you don't even need to do the guarantee because they've got so much other value, or there's been a change in their business or a pivot. So half the time you don't even have to do the thing, but it's you leaning in to say, I'm going to help you no matter what. That's what they want to hear. That's what they want to trust in. And then you're able to progress to the next stage.
Yes, I love that. That is so good. That's so good. Yes, Vanessa, also meeting people where they are at when you jump onto yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you felt like you're not being authentic if you're sharing actual client wins over old jobs. I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get it. I really like what Justine shared about the risk reversal thing. I think that's super important. Super important. Okay, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Um, okay, if we are optimizing for conversion, maybe you're getting the yeses, but you're having trouble moving people to the next stage, simplify the checkout or sales process. Don't make them fill out an application and then send them to a payment page, and then the payment page is broken or you don't accept a certain kind of payment. Like, how can you make that process as easy as possible for them? Same thing with form fields. Like if you're trying to get, it's like jumping back up a little bit in the funnel. But if you're trying to get people to opt into your landing page, don't get all the information from them. Just get their name and their email address. If you want to collect more information from them later, there's a strategic way you can do that in different email campaigns. But just make it simple, 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 simple. And then offer time-sensitive bonuses to encourage immediate action. If that sometimes helps send people over the edge, and there's different pricing strategies and different things you can do there. But look at those things. And finally, retention. If repeat customers are low, depending on your business, you might want to look at a loyalty program or exclusive offers, personalized email sequences, engage with past customers and invite them back, kind of like a one-on-one cherry picking situation, like make a list of past customers and reach out to them. Definitely think about retention, though. I think this is a super important part that we don't always pay attention to. You want to make sure, this is again kind of coming full circle to the beginning when I was talking about marketing and communications and how they're different. If you're talking to a client or a former client, it's more of communication instead of marketing. Like they've already bought in. You don't really need to convince them of anything. It's just authentically connecting and communicating with them. Like, hey, you need help? I can help you. Or I got this new product. I think it might help you do this if you're interested and have budget. That looks different than marketing. They don't need the marketing messages anymore. They just need to be communicated to, if that makes sense. Okay, so common funnel mistakes and how to fix them. So we've kind of already talked about this, but I want to put a little bow around it. Don't have too much friction at the checkout. So make sure when people go to pay you, it's real simple. It's real simple. I used to take checks in my business, and I would do like ACH transfers for payment. That was fine, but it got confusing. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take credit cards and I'm going to bake the credit card fee into my invoice. So there's no question, like everybody gets what they need and we're done. Like simplify the process, make it as easy as possible on you and your client. Unclear messaging. If your messaging is unclear, you got to clarify your value proposition. Why should they download the lead magnet? Why should they partner with you? Why do they want to opt into your email list? All of that is really important. You need to tell them what to expect too. I help you do this. I help people do this. Weak follow-up. Justine probably can talk about this all day long. If you have a sales process in place, you got the fortune is in the follow-up, right? Like you need to make sure you're connecting with people after you have these amazing sales conversations with them. You can automate and use email sequences to do that. But also if they're still in the marketing phase, you want to make sure you've got a nurture program or content laid out that you're continually feeding people to help offer them value, and put your offers in front of them as part of your marketing. And then ignoring the data, which is what today is all about. You can't ignore the data. You have to be tracking these metrics and you've got to adjust based on performance. Or even if a lot of us aren't spending money on ads right now, we're spending time. And how many hours can you get back in your life if you know that something isn't performing? You're going to be able just to cut it out and say, well, that didn't work. That messaging didn't work, or that offer didn't work. Like, get it out of your life. Go focus on something that you need to be focused on, right? Okay, quick wins. So these are low effort, high impact fixes that I want you guys to look at. Add testimonials and case studies in your emails and on your website, on your landing pages, etc. If you don't have them, I like looking at what Justine talked about, the risk reversal. So maybe that comes out in your messaging on your website or in your testimonials and your case studies. So the idea of you building trust and rapport and just really being authentic and speaking to how you walk with people, and this is how you do it. Maybe talking more about your method in that case if you don't have testimonials. Improve your page speed and your mobile friendliness. Like, that's a really quick thing that you can do. I'm pretty sure all of our websites are mobile optimized at this point. If they're not, we need to talk. But most people at this stage in the game in this day and age have mobile responsive websites. So make sure yours is. And that just means that when you look at your website on your phone, it doesn't look all crazy. And page speed, I'm going to harp on that again. Make sure your website loads quickly. You want to use strong action-oriented calls to action. If you can offer a limited time incentive to drive urgency, that's always a good thing to do. And then A/B testing on your landing pages and email subject lines. A lot of email providers make it real easy for you just to click a button and another subject line drops down and you can put an alternate subject line on there. So you can start to test what people are responding to. Landing pages are a little bit more difficult to test. They take a little more time and patience. And like I said earlier, you have to isolate some of the variables. So I probably wouldn't recommend doing that by yourself because you will drive yourself crazy. But it is something that you can do if you're really taking things to the next level and you're trying to figure out conversions. Okay, so these are the 4 things, not 3 things, that I want you guys to kind of focus on this week. So I'm going to give you a worksheet in the repo. Actually, I'm going to drop it in the chat right now. Let's do that. Okay, you guys can make a copy here. I want you all to look at your funnel. Where are people dropping off? Or if you don't know, where do you want to focus your attention on? I want you to start tracking your conversion rate. So get clear on your numbers and just make one improvement this week. Maybe it's number 4. Maybe it's the bonus. You look at your lead magnet performance. And even if you're sitting there like, I know it isn't performing well, it's okay. So what? Look at the numbers. Pull it out. See how many people landed on the page. See how many people opted in. Look at your conversion rate. At least you have data that can show you where to start. Okay. That's all I got for today, guys. Anybody have any questions? You all can pop it in the chat. You can feel free to unmute.
I have a hold on, is my thingy down? Ah, there we go. I have a selfish question.
What's up?
I really want to use webinars.
Okay.
So based on funnels,
Mm-hmm.
we'd have a landing page where people sign up for the webinar.
Mm-hmm.
So then you would track who's landing on the page to sign up for the webinar, then who goes to the webinar, then
Mm-hmm.
who has like the sales call afterwards, and then the conversion from the sales call to actual clients.
Mm-hmm.
If you said that it would be different if you were running a group, what is that just because you would just expect to have bigger numbers at that top of funnel? And so if you wanted to have 20 people in that group, it is kind of like the numbers that you had in the presentation because of those like normal conversions. So you do really need to get like in front of a lot of people to get that footfall on that landing page. And if you're using like Eventbrite as your landing page, because that's where you're going to host it, Eventbrite does give that data, doesn't it? Like who's clicking, or does it?
I don't know.
I'd
That's a
have to check.
good. Well, let me ask ChatGPT real quick, Justine.
Oh, love chat so much.
When in doubt, when in doubt, does Eventbrite track people who view the event landing page. We'll just see what it says. Yes, while it's thinking over there, everything you said, yes. The reason why I say a group needs bigger numbers is just in general, when I look at a business model that has a group component, you just have to get in front of more people in order to convert them in. Now, for you, your conversion rates might be way higher though, Justine. Like if your audience is way responsive, you might get 50% attending your webinar. And then those numbers look better down the funnel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you can think
It,
about where you can optimize the conversion rates based on like your skill set or what you know is going to land really well with the audience.
yes, yes. And if I were doing ads on the top of that funnel, I would expect cold ads, all of the conversion rates to be really low.
Mm,
Because people don't know you, it takes them longer to warm up. Now, if I was doing retargeting ads, so ads that would show up to people who are already on your email list who might be on LinkedIn or like so they know who you are already, I would expect better conversion rates through that.
mm,
So it just
got
it
it.
just kind of depends and you can like play and plug with the numbers. Um, I don't want it to discourage you though, because try it and you might be like, I'm amazing. I don't, like my numbers look really, really good. And I didn't need 5,000 people to land on that landing page in order to get my webinar numbers where they need to be.
Yeah. No, we'll try. I'll keep you
Yeah.
posted.
Yeah. Keep me posted for sure. Okay. Let's go back to our chat. Eventbrite does not natively show you
Mm,
detailed data on who views your event landing page, like names, emails. However, oh, it does show you though, total number of views on the event page. How many
okay.
people click to get the tickets and then conversion data. I'm gonna just copy and paste this and throw this in the chat for you.
Thank you.
You are
Because I'm not a
welcome.
landing page queen. I creativity is not deep. So being able to just use Eventbrite and use all of their boxes and stuff like that, it just makes it easier and it's less friction to me actually doing it because the thought
Yeah,
of building a landing page makes me want to I get in my head. So what's the easiest
I
way to
know.
just get something out there to try it?
Yeah, yeah, I get it. Let me know and go in there today and see
Yeah.
what numbers you can pull, and you might have the numbers you need, and it doesn't matter.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Copy that.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, feel free to unmute. The next learning lab is just in a couple weeks. If you guys are seeing some recurring problems in your marketing, you want to chat it out, you want to talk about it, I'll have probably a little presentation in the beginning, but I'll leave some time at the end if you want to bring some problems to me and we can kind of like hot seat troubleshoot it. So Justine, if you get that funnel launched and we want to look at numbers, bring it to me.
Okay, cool.
Well,
Definitely. Great
well,
timing.
yes. Oh, good, RT. I'm so glad. Awesome. And you all connect with me on LinkedIn. Reach out to me, email me, whatever. If you have questions, I'm super happy to help. I like this stuff. I get real nerdy about it. I like to find the problems and help you solve them. So yeah. Okay.
Thank you
With
very
that,
much,
guys,
Kristina.
thank you, Justine. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, everyone. I'm going to give you 1 minute back in your day. So have a great day, guys.
Bye.
Bye.